Good morning. You are listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, the voice of Montclair State University. This is the Morning Buzz Thursday edition. It's your boy, Josh, aka Josh, although I might not be able to call myself that anymore, guys.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, we
We'll
might.
get that towards the end of the show.
We'll get into
Oh,
that,
sure.
but I'm very nervous. I'm sweating in my seat at the thought of having to change my nickname.
You could be
But
sweating because you're wearing a hoodie.
that too, but we
In
have
studio.
some other people in the call as well, of course.
The co-host of the show, the man of 1,001 nicknames,
Mhm.
Kenny Horn, joined by our newscaster,
Carly. Just Carly.
Just Carly, and our events host.
It's me, the reigning, defending top 5 champion of the world. Isaiah's in the house today. He's ready, and he's. It's gonna be a great show today, guys.
Isaiah is one of the top 5 anime fighters of all time, according
All
to
time.
Watch.
Never
All time.
lost.
He beat out Goku like instantaneously. Goku was shaking.
Goku wishes he could be me.
Of course.
And our sportscaster.
Hello. Sorry about that.
Sportscaster Tommy Bavaro.
Hello.
So-
just your friendly neighbor sportscaster. I'll call that.
That's right. That works for me. I like that nickname. So we've got a lot that we're going to talk about today. And the thing I'm most excited about is the battle over the Joshes. But before we get into that and a lot more, Carly, tell me what's going on, because there's a lot.
Good morning, Montclair State. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Morning Buzz. I'm Carly Campbell, and here are today's top stories. President Joe Biden presided over a joint session of Congress on Wednesday night, emphasizing the expansion of childcare and his American Families Plan, which would be over $1.8 trillion. This is his first State of the Union address since holding office. Typically, State of the Union addresses are held in February, but due to, of course, his spending plan pushing back the date, it was held last night. The 3 men involved in the death of Ahmaud Arbery have been indicted with federal hate crimes as well as kidnapping. The Biden administration is set to ban menthol cigarettes in the United States. This is not the first time a flavored cigarette ban has been attempted. In 2009, a ban was attempted, but it never went through. And of course, Juuls were threatened to be taken off of the market as recent as a couple years ago. Today's weather: expect lots of clouds, lots of rain. High of today is going to be 77 degrees. It's a little bit cooler than yesterday's scorching 83, but still, pack a coat, pack an umbrella. It's going to be cloudy. It's going to get up to 77, but it'll be as low as 58 with a lot of humidity, so pack your hairspray just in case. Tomorrow, it's going to be 68 degrees, which is not as nice, but there will be some even more clouds, and it'll be 41. That's been my newscast. I'm Carly Campbell, taking it over to Tommy in the studio. He's not actually in the studio. He's in his house, but we can say he's in the studio because we're all on the same Zoom call. Tommy?
It's his personal room
The
studio.
studio.
Well, I will be back in studio hopefully next semester. So, I mean, I've been online ever since COVID. But enough of that. We start off today with Sportscast with day 1 of the 2021 NFL Draft. The NFL Draft is back in person again after having the draft be remote last year due to COVID-19. This year's NFL Draft will take place in Cleveland, Ohio, and the Jacksonville Jaguars will select the first overall pick as they are expecting to take Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence. For the local teams, the Jets will select second overall, followed by the Giants at number 11, and the Eagles as they acquired the number 12 pick from the San Francisco 49ers via Miami Dolphins. In the MLB, the Yankees embarrassed the Baltimore Orioles last night 7-0, while the Mets lost to the Red Sox 1-0, and the Phillies beat the Cardinals 5-3. The Yankees continue their series with the Orioles today at 1:05 p.m., and the Phillies continue their series with the Cardinals today at 1:15 p.m. Last night, the Knicks beat the Chicago Bulls 113-94, and the 76ers have officially clinched a playoff berth after crushing the Atlanta Hawks last night by a score of 127-83. The Nets, who have already clinched a playoff spot, are on the road taking on the Indiana Pacers tonight at 7:00 p.m. Little error right there. All local teams play at 7 o'clock p.m. tonight in the NHL. The Rangers host the Islanders at Madison Square Garden, and the Devils host the Flyers at Prudential Center in Game 3 of their 4 consecutive game series. And to wrap up today's sportscast, there is one Montclair sports game that will be taking place today. The men's baseball team is on the road to take on William Patterson University at 3:30 p.m. And that's all I have for now with the sportscast.
Thank you, Tommy.
Yes, I apologize. I meant Indiana Pacers. I was thinking of the Indianapolis Colts.
You're good. You are
It
good.
happens to the best of us. Don't worry.
Yeah,
We
I
get
think it
lost
makes
in
more
Indiana.
sense if they just go with the Indianapolis Pacers. It just makes, I don't know why.
You know,
Yeah.
Indiana is famous for corn and racing.
Hey, it's not just famous for that. It's also famous for shows that allegedly take place there. Like
You're right. It's also
Stranger
famous for our legendary explorer and architect, Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Things. Did you
Wow,
actually
I did not know that.
Nah, I'm completely making that up. We need a fact
Okay.
checker.
Bruh.
Don't listen to me.
Why would you name your kid after the state you live in? It's like if I named my child New Jersey Campbell.
Jersey Campbell? That's not
Got a
a
nice
bad
ring
name.
to it.
It's not that bad.
I don't think you put the new in it. You know, new is kind of like a title.
Yeah.
Is it though?
Yes.
I kind of like the new.
You like the
Mm,
new?
Yeah, like that's my
I don't
kid
think
new.
so.
Interesting.
If I name my
but
kid that, you have every right to call me out on the internet.
I will. But speaking of new, let's get into some news.
That's right. We have some news
Purr,
from
purr, purr.
across the
I
pond.
can't get to the. I was gonna get to the what are they called? Air horns, but I couldn't go fast enough.
Some news from across the pond. We have our UK contributor, Mia Lewington. Mia, tell me what's going on in the land of tea and crumpets. I'm so sorry.
Well, we don't just drink tea and eat crumpets, but okay. I actually have a question for you. So obviously there's a lot of COVID-19 talk for like the past year or so. But I'm just wondering what story you would like to hear, because I have 2 stories here that I really want to talk about, and one I wouldn't mind talking about, but I'm not really that interested in it. So the first one is about COVID-19 and how the UK has an NHS app, and it will be used as a coronavirus passport for international travel. And then the second story is about university students wanting, most university students wanting compulsory sexual consent test before starting university. Which one do you want to talk about?
What are we thinking, group? What are we thinking?
I think honestly having like those tests, as you mentioned, would be very important. I used to work for Rutgers as a teenager for like a magazine that talks about teen health, and honestly having something about consent would be extremely important.
So should we go for that one?
Well, I
Number
think you
2.
already told us the first one.
That's
Yeah,
true.
What
true.
else is there to
yes.
say? There's a
Yeah.
passport. You can go on vacation if you show it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bada bing,
Basically,
bada boom.
it's more just about like opinions with that one. So with the student one, a survey has found a third of students learned more about sex from pornography than they do through education. And then most students want to be tested on their understanding of sexual consent before going to university. The study by think tank, the Higher Education Policy Institute and Youth Site also found that 35% of correspondents had learned more about sex from pornography than from formal education. The majority, 58% of the 1,004 people questioned, said students should have to pass a test to show they fully understand sexual consent before starting university. And 51% thought relationships and sex education should be compulsory during the welcome period. I think that's brilliant. I think that,
I think it is too.
I
Yeah.
think it is too, except I mean, I obviously don't really know too much about what's going on, especially stuff like that in the UK. And I like to mention my glory days as a Scarlet Knight. And And before I enrolled, I know exactly what sound he's reaching for. Is it the one I think it is? Come on. Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Scarlet Knight, boo. All
The
right.
glory days of Scarlet Knight. They had us do that. Where before we even
worked
had our
for-
orientation.
I can't believe you went to Rutgers. Like, I mean, I worked for them when I was like 16, 17 years old.
You didn't know I went to Rutgers?
I didn't know. Like,
I mentioned
you
it a lot.
just brought it up in conversation.
There's a Rutgers axe in the back of his room, I think.
Oh yeah, there it is back there.
You got
Oh.
racks?
I thought you
I got
had.
that
I
when I
thought
was,
you
like,
like
10.
stole it as like a battle trophy. Like you had won a fight against like the Scarlet Knight, and like you took
Yeah,
back.
the fight against the Scarlet Knight within himself. Conquered it
That's
and
right.
finally came to the light side.
Ah, yes, top
That's how I
10
became a Red
anime
Hawk.
introspection moments.
But I would say, leading back to the story, off the back of the everyone's invited movements and that kind of moving forward, I think that is a great channel for, understanding.
Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking, I was like, oh, this is in the UK, because I know in the US, depending on where you live, you'll get varied experiences learning about that. If you go to a more religious centered place, high school in the South, it's less common. You'll even get an understanding of those topics of sex or what it is, and not even one about contraceptives or something like that. They'll just tell you to have faith and, send you on your merry way. Clap, clap, clap.
I don't know. Obviously, America has Netflix, but I don't know how much you have on there of like UK shows. But there's a TV show that we have here called Sex Education.
Yep, that's the one I thought
Yeah.
you were talking about. We have that. That's a good one.
See, I have learnt more from that show than I ever did through education at all. There is actually the weird girl who's really into aliens.
Yes.
Yeah, she has a condition, and it's the same condition that I have, and I was never taught about that condition in school. So I had to go out when I started to become like sexually active.
Yeah.
I had to go out and do my own research because I hadn't been taught about that. It's not that common, but it's not that common mainly because women don't know what it is. They don't know like what it means, what it can entail, or how or what it can even lead to. So yeah, I was never taught about any of that. I wasn't taught about, I think I was only taught about the pill. That was about it, really, about contraception, contraceptives. And yeah, it's just really bad. It's that type of education in schools, it's not done properly. It's most of the time it's done by a religious teacher as well.
Yeah, and many times there have been studies proving that ones that aren't based on abstinence only are more effective.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's definitely a big issue, and obviously in the light of the beginning of this year, with how with the grey areas of consent and all of that, grey areas of consent, it's not highlighted enough, and it's not highlighted enough to adolescents. And the fact, I mean, even a survey found that a third of students learn more about actions from websites than through education. That says a lot about what education is like here, really. I don't know if it's the same in America. I know that I've watched a lot of films like Mean Girls. It had a scene from that, and I found that quite funny, which I thought that's what it was going to be like here for our education, but it's not. really at all. You get a lot more education there than we do here.
I think overall you get a lot more education from things that
You
are
should-
stuff you probably shouldn't be watching when you're
Oh.
the age you're watching it.
Mm.
But that's how you grow and you learn, because they're not gonna teach you that in school. They won't teach oh, we won't get into the what they don't teach you, but you know,
I
they
think
definitely don't teach enough.
I once heard someone say that, well, not necessarily consent, but the actions that follow consent, they it's like learning how to drive. You learn how to do it in the moment, and it's just like that. I understand where that's coming from, but you need to first learn what consent is. It's just like driving. You have to pass that area before going into doing it. So
Yeah, of course. And I think just overall, it's a great, like you said, it's a brilliant idea. And we're gonna jump back over to the States now. So last night, President Biden, he declared that America is rising anew. That's a fancy term, Mr. Biden, as he called for an expansion of federal programs to drive the economy past the coronavirus pandemic and broadly extend the social safety net on a scale that hasn't been seen in decades. In his first State of the Union address, he pointed to the nation's emergence from the coronavirus as a moment for America to prove that democracy can still work and maintain primacy in the world. And during his address, he was repeatedly talking about his plans to have Americans go back to work, restoring millions of jobs that were lost to the virus. He laid out an extensive proposal for universal preschool, 2 years of free community college, $225 billion for childcare, and monthly payments of at least $250 to parents. All these ideas, they target frailties that were uncovered by the pandemic. And he argues that economic growth will best come from taxing the rich to help the middle class and the poor. What are we thinking?
I agree. I'm
I
glad
agree
that
too.
universal health, like not healthcare, preschool. Obviously, I want universal healthcare, but like universal preschool, that's actually being talked about by like someone at the very top.
Hmm. My thing will always be, it's great to talk about stuff, but let's do it.
Words
You know
good.
what I mean? Words good, actions better.
That's right. Words good's action better. Josh's PSA for the day.
I would love to see it happen actually and be there. But you know, universal pre-K, preschool, pre-K, preschool. What's the difference? Do you guys go to pre-K and preschool?
It's the same thing, isn't it?
I don't
I
know.
don't think it is. Is it?
Well, I mean, K is
Maybe
for
it is.
kindergarten, so it's like pre-kindergarten, which is preschool.
Perhaps. We don't know. We'll have to look at that on the back end. But education, good, even though we were just bashing it about certain topics. The general knowledge is good. We wouldn't be here without our educations, and I think education is an important part of a country's demographic transition. You know, how you advance as a country is having more people educated. It's not just on the back of one really smart person.
although quite a lot of people, obviously you there's education and then there's socialization, and you get, well, as children we are obviously socialized quite a lot through other children and our parents, um and obviously whatever our parents know and how intelligent they are, that's going to be our first introduction to education. And there's been a lot of people that I've known in the past, who, just by talking to them, you could pretty much see what their dad would be like or what their mum would be like, just through knowing them and through how they talk and how intelligent they are. And I mean, I'm not a big fan of mandatory education, not gonna lie. If I had the money when I have kids and I have the money, I'm probably going to homeschool them, um, and get them education suited to who they are as a person rather than mandatory education and having to just fit into a box, um, and be taught with 30 other children, 30 other individuals. And it's just I don't quite understand how some people can think that 30 children can all be taught the exact same way about the exact same thing and understand it the exact same way as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree about because it never made much sense to me that it's just all the same thing. Like boom, boom, boom. Every single kid's learning the same thing. And also, I did some research. Preschool is between 2 to 4 years old. Pre-K is between 4 and 5.
Got them. They're different. Woo.
That's right. And also, I would like to note that while I was looking it up, I was putting it in Google. I put in what is the difference, and the top result was what is the difference between left and right Twix.
That's important.
I feel like I should make that known.
You can find
Well,
that
one's a
out
little
in
sweeter than the
pre-K.
other.
What was that, Isaiah?
One's a little sweeter than the other.
One's a little bit sweeter. Which one?
The one on the left, like if you really
Incorrect. The right
analyze it, when you take a bite of that beautiful Twix and you bite down a little bit, you get a little splash of sugar in there, which is different from the right one.
Top 5 sugar.
No, not at all. Actually,
Oh, I'm
Twix
sorry.
is
I'm
not
sorry.
top 5. Don't you ever say something offensive
Oh,
like
so
that
Twix
ever
is
again.
not top 5 candy?
No.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Isaiah.
We'll have to save that to the end and get Isaiah's top.
I'm
5.
getting the tables, guys, and everyone's like getting thrown through it.
But yeah, education. I was gonna share an anecdote about like my experience. I think I was afforded many opportunities in my experience in education. I remember, especially when I was younger, there was a lot of sort of tests, not standardized tests, but learning tests where they would ask children how they learned best. So very vividly, I remember one test would group all the kids in the class into different categories, and they were video, audio, and like kinesthetic. So there were kids who everyone in the class took a test to determine whether they learned best by seeing it, whether they learned best by doing it hands-on, or whether they learned best by, hearing it, just like listening to lectures. And I think that was very unique to my experience. I don't know if anyone else here had that kind of thing. I had like audio was mine in a sense
Fitting.
that I learned best just from like listening.
Mm.
But it really is a combination of all. Like you really can't teach people the same way because not everyone learns the same way. And I know I was definitely a product of just being able to mesh with the system.
Yeah. No, I remember I took similar tests when I was a kid. I had no idea what my results were, but
I remember because I was like the only person that was like an auditory learner. I was like, oh wow.
that's very funny. What did they do on that test? Do you remember?
Oh, it was just asking you like what you prefer, and you're like, I learn best like this, hearing it over and over. And I mean, most of my schooling was just reliance on my memory, which happens to be pretty good.
Pretty good.
So that's why
Mine was trash.
that's pretty good.
My memory is decent at best. I don't know a lot of things.
I had
There's
a
a
good
lot of
memory,
things,
but it ran away and I can't find it.
Yeah.
Oh, you better go catch it.
Oh!
Got him.
You're talking about memory in school and that. I remember mine was so bad, but that was mainly because I wasn't interested in anything that they were talking about. Now my memory is brilliant. Like I'm able to just talk and talk about certain things like Norse mythology. I can talk
Oh,
about
I
that
love that.
Oh
I
yeah.
love
day.
mythology. Oh, we should have a mythology
Am I missing
show.
out?
Let's start it out. Let's start it up.
It's so cool.
Talk about
It's
one
just
culture
so
a day.
Norse
Oh.
mythology?
Norse
Three of
number
you
one.
were all into that. Am I missing out on something?
Next week we talk about Mayan mythology.
Oh,
Hey, Mayans. Let's get it.
Hey.
Kids,
the Mayan calendar. That's ooh.
What
We
am I
out here.
missing
We out
on?
here.
we were supposed to
here.
die in 2012. Do you guys remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
I remember that. Remember the movie that came out 2012?
God, oh my God.
I
I was
remember
on TV all
With
the time.
what was his name? Is that? Hold on,
it was
I'm
called
gonna-
2012. I remember on the day that they said the world was going to end.
with
on
Chiwetel
2012.
Ejiofor.
2012, wasn't it? Like
It
they
was
said it
December
wasn't.
21st. I remember I asked the
There
girl
was
out.
another one. There was
I
another
was
one
like,
that they predicted.
Wait,
like,
Kenny.
There it
What?
is.
You asked someone out?
I did
because
because
you
it was
thought
the
the
last
world
day of the
was
world.
ending?
I was in sixth grade.
Oh
I was
my
like,
gosh.
hey, you want to go out on a date? The last day of the world?
And now they're married.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Dun,
I got
dun,
shot
dun,
down.
dun.
What?
Oh,
A
Yeah.
6th grade relationship didn't work out?
No.
that's
no,
not how
it
the
didn't.
movies
wild.
work.
No, sixth grade
That's
Kenny was
bottom five
crushed.
relationship.
Like May 21st, 2011. That was like when this one guy said the world was gonna end.
And we all just believed him.
You're like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
seems about
yeah.
right.
He's like, oh no, he's the only person who knows how to actually read the Mayan calendars.
Oh no, he just always kept on making this guy. His name was like Harold Camping. Like he just like randomly would give out like
Was he camping though?
days. I don't know. He's dead. You can ask him. But
Wow.
Okay. On that note,
he kept on giving out predictions like left and right. It was wild. But
yeah. I mean, it's understandable. I remember in my mythology class watching a whole video about the lost language of the Mayans and how their inscriptions are so hard to decipher because they have so many ways of expressing the same syllable. And I think that's kind of where my interest started, in the sense that so much of it has been erased due to conquest and inquisition that there's so little left, and that little bit is cool in my eyes. But we're going to take a quick break. But before that, we have a little bit of news for the remembrance of one of our Apollo 11 astronauts, Michael Collins. He passed away recently. So we're going to play a piece that talks about that. We'll be back here on the Morning Buzz after this break.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
The loneliest man in history has died. Apollo 11 astronaut Michael Collins was 90 years old. Collins became the loneliest man in history by staying aboard the Apollo 11 capsule in July 1969, while his teammates Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin took the first steps on the moon. America is mourning the news of this loss. Buzz Aldrin expressed his feelings on Twitter, saying, "Wherever you have been, or will be, you will always have the fire to carry us deftly to new heights and to the future. We will miss you. May you rest in peace." Another user expressed their sorrow, saying, "We've lost one of our greatest explorers of the final frontier, space." Collins was awarded with the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1969, the highest civilian honor. He was also inducted into the United States Astronaut Hall of Fame in 1993. He is preceded in death by Armstrong, who died in 2012, leaving Buzz Aldrin as the only surviving member of the Apollo 11 mission. His family has said that they plan to release details about the memorial service soon. For WMSC, I'm Caitlin Aristizabal.
And we're back here on the Morning Buzz. In case you just woke up or you just tuned in, my name is Josh, aka Josh. I'm adjusting in my seat.
I am the man of 1,001 nicknames, Kenny Horn, joined by our news contributor.
I'm Carly. Just Carly.
I'm Carly. Carly. No.
You,
Oh,
Carly.
no.
It was
We
you.
went
Carly,
through
that's
this.
It
it,
was
that
you,
was it.
Carly.
You,
We
Carly.
agreed on that one
forgot it.
last time, but I forgot.
It's been too long. And of
Eventos.
course, top 5 Isaiah is here.
Yes, sir.
The UK
For those of
contributor
you
who I'm surprised we haven't given a nickname to.
Oh no.
Oh, she's
Gotta get
dreading
you a
it.
nickname.
Mia's nickname.
You'll get something, Mia. You'll get something, Mia.
It'll come to us. But for those of you just tuned in, for the last half an hour, we've been talking news from the UK, sports, and news from the US as well. Of course, we just played a piece on Michael Collins passing. He was the loneliest man in the world, staying aboard the Apollo 11 while Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong took the first steps on the moon. Sort of an unsung hero in that sense.
Yeah, definitely an unsung hero. But we are going to talk about some New Jersey news. Right now, we are going to talk about how there are no changes planned for New Jersey after mask rules have been updated by the CDC. So a day after federal officials announced the new rules about you don't have to wear any face coverings outside if you are fully vaccinated, Governor Murphy said that New Jersey won't update its protocols to make separate outdoor mask rules for fully vaccinated people. Quote, the feds have basically mimicked what we've been doing all along, although they've added the dimension of being fully vaccinated, end quote, as that's what Governor Murphy said during his latest COVID-19 briefing in Trenton. The CDC's new guidance released Tuesday says that fully vaccinated people in America can walk safely, maskless outdoors, or when they're running alone, or while they're with the members of the family that they live with. They also can be without masks in small outdoor gatherings with fully vaccinated people. And this goes along with the other rules that if you were far enough outside, you can have masks off, everything that we've been doing already. But the thing that this story made me think about is I think our recovery as a state has been done very well. And
Oh, of course.
yeah, I feel like while it is great news that we can have these masks off in public, and I'm not necessarily against that, it's important to note how cautious Governor Murphy is being with that.
He's got to be. You remember the last 2 times he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna open up," and then another wave happened. He's like, I wonder why. Let's close down again."
That's
You
true.
can't just because CDC says so. You have to do what's best for your region, especially as governor. He's in charge of us, and he has to do what's best for us. We are not how the world is altogether. CDC is looking at everything. It's like, all right, so overall, it's kind of good. If you're like this, you could do that. My concern is that how many people will really listen to Governor Murphy over the CDC. I feel like you hear that news that you don't have to wear a mask in public according to the CDC, and you're like, woo, and you rip it off, right? And then Murphy's gonna be like, actually, don't do that. And I'm like, what do you mean? They just said I don't have to. Right. So in terms of authority and in terms of that, I feel like people might not get the New Jersey or the local memos because they're too busy paying attention to the national memos and the international memos.
Yeah, and even then, it's if they feel like following it or not. It's like, well, I mean, the CDC says it's okay. I might as well. That's another point to know. What are you all thinking?
Well,
Y'all.
I don't. My thing is, how do you even like control that? It's like, how do you know someone is vaccinated when they're taking their mask off? Because you're already gonna have those people who aren't vaccinated walking around mask free. So what are you gonna like go up to them and be like, "Sir, are you vaccinated?" And
Just
then
smack them on
decide
their
whether or
arm where
not
they got the shot and see if they go, ow.
Ow, it hurts. But I think it's like I don't know how that really works, where you can truly control that and know that it's safe. So I think either way, for now, you might as well just, I guess, try to make people wear their mask. But I don't know. I feel like we're probably going to get to that point where everyone's just going to kind of make up their own ruling since the vaccine is out there and be like, well, I'm just going to go outside and see what happens today.
Yeah, that's true. The day we don't have to wear masks regularly, because masks should definitely be something that is considered to be incorporated. If you're sick, don't go coughing everywhere. You know what I mean? Makes sense. But the day we don't have to wear masks, especially in studio, I think that'll be an interesting day.
Yeah, it's going to be
It
weird.
may seem like it's only been a year living like this, but I think we'll find that people as a whole, as a race, as a species, tend to adapt pretty quickly to new change, even if they don't like it. And going back to how things were might prove, difficult. There's been articles published about re-entry anxiety and how some people, especially in the workplace, are anxious, not in the good way, like, oh, eager. They have anxiety about returning to how things were because maybe, they were just dealing with a bad situation because that's how it was. And they found that working remotely has been good for them. But there's many factors from many different people about this. And I don't know. We'll have to see for sure.
Yeah, I have a quick question. Mia, what are the guidelines about this in the UK?
Well, I haven't actually heard any. Okay, our prime minister has been all over the place in the last year. Like he said one thing in one conference, and then like 10 minutes later he's just totally contradicted himself, and then everyone just
Holy
doesn't know what's going on, what's happening. There's been a load of footage and photos of uh the House of Commons when all of our MPs have been having meetings in the House of Commons in the last year or so. Only about a few, well, maybe 5 or 6 have been out of 30 odd people have been wearing masks, and they've all been really like close knit. They've always been in small tight corridors and all of that. So it's there was actually a video last week that came out from some paparazzi who showed one of the MPs going into the Downing Street flat and took his mask off as he was going into the flat rather than leaving it on. So yeah, it's okay. There's a lot of opinions here. There's a lot of anti-vaxxers as well. I'm actually doing a commission for one of them. Some of their points are quite good, but I don't know what's believable. I'm just really going about my own business at this point. We don't have any rules on wearing masks out and about when we're walking. Haven't heard anything about that, at least. Not many people do. It's just mainly in big groups when you're walking through pubs, when you're walking in shops, in close gatherings, in hospitals, obviously, in doctors. I don't think we're actually having any. I don't even think there's any doctors that are open at the moment. But yeah, I expect the rules there are very different to the rules here.
Yeah, the thing I'm lost about is the guy taking off his mask going into a building.
Yep.
I'm just wondering what was going on in his head. So yeah, but it's important to note the differences between the two different countries here, because there are two different trends in how they're following cases and deaths and everything associated with that, and seeing what is going right and, more importantly, what is going wrong in each country can be a huge thing for us. But next we have a new story. We're sticking to New Jersey with this one, and sticking because it's sticky, because honey. That's right, we're talking about bees on the Morning Buzz. So yeah, I know that was a terrible segue. I'm aware, but I'm going for it.
You gotta attend my Segway class, Kenny.
A segue class, okay.
Yep, I teach everyone how the ways of transitions.
Okay, I'll remember that. Thank you. All right, so
The morning buzz isn't the only thing buzzing around New Jersey.
Oh, that would
Our
be much
next
better.
story, we're going to be talking about some bees and what they're cooking up. I'll have you give a hint. It's sweet. It's sticky. It's
Ooh.
honey. Don't make that face, Isaiah. Don't make it. Just stick with it. Aren't you the one who
Sweeter
likes
than the
honey on
left side
your
of the
pancakes,
Twix.
huh, Isaiah?
I am. Okay. You know what? That's fair.
Yeah, got him. All right, Kenny.
All right. So Mila Varela is a 7th grader at Weehawken High School. I'm going to touch on that later. And she's the first one to admit that she's pretty nervous around bees, but she's never been stung by one, and she's trying to keep it that way. But earlier this year, after learning that her great-grandfather once owned a honey company in Korea, she joined roughly a dozen other Weehawken High School students at the inaugural members of the unique extracurricular group, the Weehawken Bee Club. On Monday afternoon, as she and the other club members watched hundreds of bees crawling inside a plexiglass walled hive outside the school, it was explained that the process of creating a new bee colony, safety, of course, was the most important priority, and in its first meeting, students learned how to inspect and wear beekeeping suits, how to handle the smokers, and proper methods of treating bee stings. This bee club, which has been already 4 times, is in the early stages, but it doesn't have a beehive of its own yet. The
Oh,
person who runs the club is hoping to acquire a beehive soon within the next few weeks and set it up on the roof of the school so the students can begin the process of caring for the animals and harvesting honey and wax.
that's awesome. Just a
Yeah.
bee club. It'll be really awkward if
Love
somebody's looking for the
bees.
spelling bee club.
They walk into that.
Oh, you just make that pun.
Yeah. I mean, it would be you're trying to win a national championship for spelling, or if the school that year decides to do the spelling bee for the play, it'll be triply awkward.
Yeah,
But I
imagine
think-
showing up to the club. Be like, all right, I got
Are
my
these the
notebook.
auditions for the spelling bee? You just get stung. But I think that's real. I like that because bees, they're so nice.
I love
And
bees.
they get a bad
Like,
rap because of wasps and hornets. They're just like little fuzzy honey gatherers, and being able to observe that, I feel like that's such a practical thing compared to like an anime club.
Excuse me?
I'm not calling you out, Carly. My
Yeah,
sister was the president of
disgusting
the anime club. All right.
I will get mildly upset.
Yeah, my sister was the
Not-
president. I'm just saying, what did they do? They watched stuff. She taught people how to draw a little bit, but
Exactly.
in
Like finding
sense
a
of
common interest is like what clubs are supposed to do.
yeah,
Like, don't judge them because they like watching cartoons.
I'm not judging them. I'm saying
No.
it's less practical. It's more for enjoyment. It's pleasurable.
Some unique clubs.
Yeah, a bee club. How many places have a bee club? Only Weehawks.
Exactly.
You think there's bee competitions?
Spelling bee
Ooh.
competitions. That's why I made the
No.
joke before.
Stop it! No,
Which
like
colony makes the most honey?
exactly. You try to breed the
Oh, so now you guys are
strongest
exporting
colony.
bees.
Yeah, there's like I feel like there's a great
They're
market
already
for here.
endangered. You don't have to export
Yeah.
them for
No,
honey.
we are exploiting in typical American fashion. Exploit the minority. So then you just put them on ESPN and let them buzz.
Will that really be a
People watch
competition
it,
worthy?
I mean, it's better than cornhole. If cornhole can make it,
Oh,
onto
you're
Whoa,
so
ESPN,
right.
Back up.
You can't,
Then
control
exactly.
someone's bees.
Don't
Like,
talk about
You're
cornhole.
so right. No, there's no
Imagine
way
if
that
how
they have
long- you would
cornhole
have, like-
championships airing on ESPN. I was so
Cornhole is
amazed.
Cool.
They have
Listen,
cornhole playoffs. They
listen.
have cornhole regular
makes no
season.
sense.
It's
cornhole
it's
at least has
wild.
action. Bees. Do you
Bees
know
have
how
a
long
tons
it
of
takes-
action.
I'd rather
Oh, I
see
know,
bees.
but like bees, they take forever to like get back to the hive. Like I watch a beekeeping channel on YouTube, and like she has to do time lapses for like 2/3 of the video because it takes forever for the bees to go to the actual hive that she's moving them
Yeah.
to.
How
It's like watching
relaxing is
golf.
it? You go sit down in your
Oh.
office shift from 9 to 5, and you just
Tiger
watch
Woods
bees.
is the one that's going to be collecting hives, dude.
You just watch some bees. If
Where's
you really want
Tommy
to
when you
spice
need
it up,
him?
you have somebody dress up in a bear costume and run around the hives.
Ooh.
Bears actually eat bees, I found out.
What is that?
Do they eat
Bears eat
bees?
bees. They don't go for the honey. They go for the bees because bees are good sources of protein.
Huh.
They
Interesting.
do. So we've been lied to?
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh?
Winnie the Pooh is a bee
Eating
eating
bees?
free.
Oh, bother. I'm hungry for some bees, Piglet.
This is so weird.
I-
That voice makes me uncomfortable. Stop it.
Isaiah,
I've
you
got.
No.
like my Winnie the Pooh voice, Isaiah.
That's giving me
Boy.
the
want
Family Guy
some
character
bees.
vibes.
Oh no.
Oh, Herbert, I can't do the whistle though. My friend was a really good whistler.
Uh,
Oh, Piglet. It turns out I don't actually like honey, Piglet. I like bees.
you think they discussed that in the newest season of Winnie the Pooh?
The
Doesn't it
newest
expose them?
season, like,
Yeah,
like Winnie
it's
the Pooh, like BoJack Horseman or something.
yeah. It's actually like a reality show, live action Winnie the Pooh, and they
Oh.
follow him around, much
I
like
would
a
actually
VH1
cry.
original.
honey recovering addicts. But congratulations to the Bee Club, not to be confused with the Spelling Bee Club.
Of course not.
I hope they get their own hive soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
confused how there are 7th graders in high school. I don't like that system, but that's a
Mhm.
completely other point. Let's not get into
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how practical the competition of the bees is, Isaiah. I'm sorry, but we do have a very practical competition that happened, circling back to the beginning of the show, Josh, aka Josh, might need a new nickname, and that is because the Battle of the Joshes. Have you guys heard about the Battle of the
I was
Joshes?
following that.
Yes.
It was
nonstop.
a battle organized on the internet between a bunch of people named Josh Swain or Josh in general. That I don't know when it first appeared. It first appeared last year, about April 21st. And it was just a message giving longitude and latitude coordinates to someplace in Nebraska, saying that all Joshes will organize in 1 year's time to fight to be the best Josh. So, of course, when you first read that, you're like, haha, that's funny. That's interesting. Nobody's actually going to do it. But if that was your thought, you're incorrect, because Joshes are superior.
Are you sure?
Over the weekend, there was a gigantic battle between all Joshes around the USA. I don't want to say around the world, because I don't know if intercontinental Joshes showed up. But
Is there a secret club you can ask?
I'll have to talk to my
Is there a
Joshes.
secret Josh society?
I'll
that we
have to
don't
talk to
know
my Joshes. I can't reveal that information. But many people actually did show up to a field in Nebraska where they battled it out with pool noodles to find out who is the number one Josh. And it did so happen that a little 5-year-old Josh won.
Lil Josh.
Oh,
Lil Josh is the
was
king
actually
of
4,
Joshes.
even younger.
He was
he's
4.
pre-K age.
Lil Josh is the king of Joshes. He's the victor. No, he is the
Oh.
winner, because Victor's a different name.
Yeah,
He's the Josher.
he's completely different. Josh, I'm curious though. Do we have to get rid of your nickname?
That's
I don't know.
Yeah, we gotta
it's real
figure that out.
complicated. The artist formerly known as Josh, aka Josh.
There we
artist.
go.
There we go. Well, I'll just take the Prince route.
do you have a symbol too, or
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you need a symbol.
You know, like an unpronounceable
Can I do,
not
like,
single,
asterisk?
syllable. I don't even know what words
Can
are
I use a
today.
tilde?
yes?
I'll use a tilde, and I'll be the artist formerly known as Josh, aka Josh.
That could work.
But I think that was such a beautiful story. And what I didn't know until recently is that they were raising money at the Battle of the Joshes.
really?
And I think they
And they
raised
were
about
collecting food for food pantries in
Yep.
Nebraska too.
Wow,
they
Joshes are
raised
nice
maybe like
worldwide.
$10,000 or so for
Wow.
this Battle of the Joshes. It was quite the spectacle. And that's why I say, Josh is superior. Also
fair.
letting the little Josh take home the WWE belt. There are so many Joshes and so many costumes. It
He
makes
didn't-
me proud to be formerly a Josh.
Do you know what
Formally.
he was crowned with? Will Josh?
It's a little Burger King crown.
That's right. They gave
They
him a
put it
Burger
on his
King crown.
head. Of course, his little head was too small and the crown went down to his neck, but it's a part of joshing.
See, I don't buy this. I don't buy this part. Little Josh, there's no way little Josh pulls up to Nebraska and beats that many Joshes. It just
It's
doesn't
true.
seem
He
believable.
was a
Well, maybe
He's a
chosen
top
one.
5 Josh. He's top
He
1
may be
Josh.
he's
like
number one
the-
Josh.
I'm sorry,
maybe he was
Isaiah, but
smart
he's
and
the
waited.
number one anime protagonist of all time.
That's true.
Maybe
Top
he waited
one
to the
Josh.
end. He's like,
He
let
won.
all the other ones tire themselves out and then strike.
Oh, you think he outsmarted?
He hornswoggled it,
Yeah,
Oh my God.
He hit under the ring.
That is a wild reference.
Well, they're both
I have
short.
not heard that since I
Good
was
old
10.
Hornswoggle.
Hornswoggled it.
I have not heard that since I was 10. Hey, he's probably the same size as Hornswoggle.
Yeah, for
Oh.
now. But he's gonna absorb all the other power of the Joshes, and he's gonna assume super Josh height.
Do you think you could take on Will Josh?
Of course not.
Good.
How
That's
many
the right
Joshes
answer.
did he beat? That's why I didn't go to Nebraska. I didn't want to embarrass myself. And also, I
Okay.
couldn't afford to take it.
Or also, you could have just been like, you know what? I'm gonna hold off on like showing the true power to the people of Nebraska. I would.
Yeah.
You would scorch those.
I'm only
like-
using 3% of my
Nebraska-
power right now.
Yeah, you would scorch those poor Nebraska cornfields.
Are you like Godzilla slowly charging
Uh-huh.
up in like an ocean?
I don't want to ruin the agricultural infrastructure of Lincoln, Nebraska.
That's all they have. It's honestly all they have.
It's all they,
All they have.
Their
It's all they
corn. You
do.
don't want to get rid of it.
Yeah. But what we have coming up here is that's a wonderful story. I want more stuff like that. What we have
Mhm.
coming up are some
I'll challenge all the
events.
people in Carly.
How was that segue, Josh? Was that a little bit better?
Yeah, that was all right.
I'll take it.
That
Okay,
was
I'm
okay.
learning. I'm learning. We have some
Alrighty,
events.
people. The events for today, Thursday, April 29th, 2021. The world is still going. It hasn't ended yet. We have Disney Trivia Night, guys. If you're
Ooh.
into Disney, there's an online event tonight. And you can, guess about Disney characters like, did Simba really deserve to be king? I don't know. Then we have a coloring book frenzy, which is also online. They're gonna send you like a picture of the coloring book, and then you guys can color together on the web. Who doesn't love to color? Actually, fun fact, my grandma loves to color. She has a bunch of coloring books. But anyways, the final event, an event so spectacular that I had to save it for last just because of the name itself. Just listen to how this sounds. Werewolf Night.
What?
Like,
Ooh, are we playing werewolf? I
so
love that.
mysterious.
Werewolf now.
Because there's many options you could go for. Is it like a game? Are they role playing all together as werewolves?
Oh, do they not say what it is?
No, they do. Werewolf
Okay.
is like that'd be funny though. Just like it's something. But it's like a game, and then you have to like deduce who is the werewolf. And so it's
Yeah.
like a card game. Everyone gets like a role, and then you have to find the werewolf and I guess kill him.
Just like Mafia.
Yeah. We should
Or
do
Town of
Mafia.
Salem.
I played
Cool.
where I actually played that game when I was like in high school. It was
Me
really
too.
fun.
I played it for Odyssey of the Mind.
I think I have a
But yeah,
copy.
guys, those are the events.
If you want to be a werewolf,
Yeah, sign up, guys. It's gonna be in University Hall.
Yeah, sign up if
So-
you're interested, definitely.
If Jacob from Twilight hasn't been returning your calls, go to the University Hall. They'll take care of the werewolf thing for you. Don't worry.
if seeing a full moon makes the blood rush to your head,
That's a
and
great
you
question. Is it a
feel
full
like-
moon tonight? It better be.
No, I think the full moon
No.
was a couple nights ago on Monday.
Oh,
Let's just
It's
say it
Robert Moon.
is.
I
Come
think it's a
on.
waning now, a sort of a waning gibbous, What's your
I was
guys'
thinking more waning
favorite-
crescent?
What's your favorite phase of the moon? Come on, guys, it's an
when
easy
it's
question.
big, when it's real big.
All
in the
right,
sky.
you loser.
Like when it's
I'm
pickle
like-
shaped.
Oh
My gosh, you guys don't know?
I'll go
I'm
crescent
liking
moon.
Waxing, crescent, gibbous.
I'm liking
half
waxing
moon?
gibbous.
Listen, Josh, I did not like. I don't know anything
Come
about
on,
the moon
guys.
other than it
I like
exists.
waxing
Sides
gibbous.
are cool.
Hey, I said crescent. I said crescent
right.
after saying big moon.
Big moon into crescent.
Big moon into crescent. That's my
All right,
album
Mr.
name.
Mr. DreamWorks over here.
Yes, sir.
I'm
a little fisherman.
From the moon, treasure planet.
Everyone, I have an announcement. We've hit nearly the last 2 minutes of the show. Do you know what that means?
Hit
No.
us with it.
Does
Is
it
it
mean that we
Pokemon
get to
time?
see Isaiah?
It is Pokemon time.
It's Pokemon time.
Yes.
Pokemon time.
As
I've got a
always.
question.
Pokemon.
Last week was what? Pokeball or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Pokeball. It was
Favorite
favorite
Pokeball?
Pokeball.
Yeah, I was like sick.
Yeah, I've
Sorry.
got a question today.
Okay.
What is your favorite legendary Pokemon?
Oh, that's a good
Ooh.
one. I actually don't know.
I'm going Lugia, man. The
Lugia?
little
Lugia's
Ah, you
pretty
little
cool.
whale bird.
whale
Oh my
bird.
god.
Whale bird.
What? I have never,
That would be a
Whalebird.
greater name.
I have never
Mine
thought of
would
it as a whale
Probably
bird.
be. Hang on. I gotta find the picture. Because like I swear to God, I know what
There's so
legendary
many.
Pokemon are.
Is
There are so
Pikachu
many.
a legendary?
I mean, I feel like if you asked me as a kid, I would say Rayquaza.
Oh,
Right.
That's
Rayquaza's
fair.
awesome.
I think that's a
Rayquaza
valid
is
one.
awesome. But I feel like if
top
you
five
ask me
legendary.
now, it might be more. I don't know. I really don't know. If you asked me a kid, it was either Rayquaza or Groudon. Kyogre.
Groudon.
Kyogre's pretty cool.
I
But
thought it
So you like your
Groudon,
Gen 3?
I do like those are
Gen 3 's
some
pretty
good
good.
legendaries.
Yeah, that's all Gen 3 right there.
But
did.
I would say now probably Giratina from Gen
Ooh.
4.
Oh, he's
Giratina's
cool
just
looking.
Cool. It's
Yeah.
a
I
ghost
love
dragon.
Jirachi.
Goes into another dimension. That's just cool.
Tough. I'm thinking mine's probably Darkrai.
Oh,
Whoa.
Darkrai. is pretty cool.
That's a
That's a whole
too.
movie.
Darkrai's
Is he a
pretty cool.
ghost or is he dark?
Darkrai. Dark. He eats your dreams or something.
Yeah, he's
Eater.
special like
Maybe.
that.
Oh, but then you see, I feel like there's so many categories. You have the cover legends, and then you have like the mini legends, like you got the 3 dog or the 3 beasts, because they're not 3 dogs, because Raikou is a saber tooth, which is a cat. So they're not dogs.
Oh
Then
my
you got the 3
god.
birds. Then you got the 3 little spirits from Gen 4, Azelf, Yuxi, and Ymir. I
The
don't know
Lake
the other-
Guardians.
Lake
Mesprit,
Guardians
Azelf, Yuxi.
and Mesprit.
Yes.
Raiku's a saber tooth?
Yes.
Yeah.
How did it just click?
How did,
Have you seen his
Yeah, that's
teeth?
why
What in the
people-
world?
you got to call them the 3 beasts because
Huh.
2 of them are dogs, but the other one's a cat.
Before we
My
wrap
mind's
here
blown.
on the Morning Buzz on 90.3
Wait,
WMSC Upper Montclair, Mia, Carly, do either of you have favorite legendary Pokemon?
Shaman.
I was
Shaman-
going to
Shaman's a
mention
good one.
Shaman. I was going to get to the cute one, Shaman, Victini, Jirachi. Wait,
Oh,
I might change
Jirachi's
mine to
so cute.
Jirachi. I love Jirachi.
Jirachi's so
Celebi?
cute.
Celebi, Onion Fairy. Mia, are you a fan of Onion Fairy? My sister loves Celebi.
Mia, do you have one?
Putting you on the spot.
I want to hear something. Come on.
Ah,
She's not a Pokemon fan.
no, I am.
Oh,
I
we're gonna
am.
kick you off.
But there's just
There's
You can
so
give us like a top. You
yeah,
can give us
there's
like a
so
top 5.
many.
You can give us like a top 5.
Top 5 Pokemon legendary.
Okay, I'll give
My
you actually.
job.
Oh.
I'll give you a top 2.
Ooh,
Okay.
okay.
Even better.
Cosmog and
Oh,
Cosmo.
so cute.
I
Even know those
agree.
two.
They're very cute.
They're just.
They're
It's just the psychic type.
They're just living.
Just psychic. You know, who doesn't love a psychic? I mean,
I
if
love
you're into that.
Cosmog because it was like the old RPG stereotype where like the super weak thing turns into the legendary. I do like Solgaleo and Lunala. I think they're pretty cool.
Oh, same.
And we can all agree that the Sword and Shield legendaries are just dogs with weapons and they're inferior.
Yeah, they're just dogs with swords.
They're very basic.
They're very basic, and we should all be mad at that generation and hope to bring new life with the next Pokemon games. But that being said, you have been listening to the WMSC. This has been the Morning Buzz, airing weekdays 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We're running a little over, so we will see you guys next week. I've been the artist formerly known as Josh, aka Josh.
I've been the man of 1,001 nicknames. Kenny Horn. Drum Bauer newscaster.
Harley.
I've been top 5 Isaiah, guys.
And UK contributor.
don't know.
Just say your
Don't
name. We'll
know.
figure it out.
Just
Oh no, could be
Mia. Yeah. I
Good
don't.
old
That's
Mia.
I don't. What kind of?
MIA.
Ooh,
Thanks.
MIA.
No. Oh no.
And
Paper planes?
Oh, no.
Good song. All
Well,
right,
thanks,
and a little bit of news for you to close it out. This is weird. We're giving news at the end of the show. Tomorrow marks the 100 days since the Biden presidency, an arbitrary date
Ooh.
on the calendar, but it is an ancient way of judging how a president is going. So if you tune in at 2 p.m. tomorrow, we will have coverage featuring some alumni talking about Biden's first 100 days. That is it for us here at the Morning Buzz at WMSC. See you all next week.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.